Okay, so a trade just dropped that could literally define the next decade for two different NBA franchises. But the wild part is this huge 8-player deal is really just the final aftershock from a massive gamble that completely blew up in their faces just 1 year ago. So, to really wrap our heads around what just happened, we have to back up a little bit and ask a pretty basic question. How does one single massive mistake end up triggering an 8-player earthquake that sends a superstar packing for the second time in a year? Well, to find that answer, we gotta rewind the tape and look at the beginning of the end for the Mavericks' last big plan. You see, it really all starts with the ghost of a past trade. The Dallas Mavericks were under some serious pressure after they traded away an MVP-level guy like Luka Doncic last year. That move was supposed to be the start of a whole new era. Right after they got Anthony Davis in that Doncic deal, the general manager at the time, Nico Harrison, he made this incredibly bold statement. He saw this multi-year championship window opening up. But wow, did that window slam shut fast. The whole thing just completely fell apart. And it was mostly because of some really devastating injuries. And the fallout? Oh, it was immediate, and it was brutal. The fans were just furious about losing Luka. That anger led directly to the GM, Nico Harrison, getting fired. The guy at the center of it all, Anthony Davis, he only managed to play in 29 games. And that dream duo of AD and Kyrie Irving, they were on the court together for one single game. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It was a complete and total disaster. So with their backs against the wall, Dallas realized they couldn't just patch this up. No, they had to blow the whole thing up. They slammed the big red reset button, and that's what led to this shocking move that has the entire league talking right now. So here's the deal in a nutshell. The Mavs are sending out their superstar big man and a few guards, and coming back from the Washington Wizards, you've got 4 players and a whole bunch of future draft picks. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty here. Washington gets the superstar they've been looking for in Anthony Davis. But look at what Dallas gets back. A solid veteran in Khris Middleton for some stability, a couple of young prospects, and here's the real prize for them. A whopping 5 future draft picks. They are totally restocking the cupboards, which were basically empty. So you might be asking yourself, why would Dallas do this? Why on earth would you trade a superstar? Well, for them, this move isn't about winning tomorrow. It's about tearing it all down to the studs to build a new foundation, one that's all about flexibility and a very, very bright future. And this right here is the perfect timeline of how it all went down. It's like a series of dominoes. The Doncic trade fails. The GM gets fired. And then the basketball gods just smile on them. They get unbelievably lucky in the draft lottery, land the #1 pick, and get to draft a generational talent in Cooper Flagg. That single moment, that one lucky bounce, changed everything. And it made this Anthony Davis trade not just something they could do, but something they had to do. I mean, let's just stop and think about this for a second. 1.8%. That was their chance of winning that lottery. Hitting those odds and landing Cooper Flagg gave them a whole new identity, a new cornerstone, and basically the green light to just completely pivot and move on from the AD experiment. And then, of course, you gotta follow the money. This is a massive piece of the puzzle. By trading Davis, Dallas clears his enormous $58.5 million salary off their books for next season. That is huge. It gives him so much breathing room and financial flexibility moving forward. So this slide pretty much lays out the new game plan in Dallas. The blueprint is crystal clear. Get rid of those big contracts, get under the luxury tax, which, is basically a penalty line for the league's biggest spenders, and just patiently build around your new 19-year-old phenom, Cooper Flagg, all while grabbing as many future draft picks as you possibly can. All right, let's flip the coin and look at the other side of this deal, because Washington's strategy could not be more different. They are done rebuilding. They are pushing all their chips into the middle of the table. They are going all in on winning right now. Washington's whole plan is to create this high-powered win-now core. So they're pairing up their recent acquisition, star guard Trae Young, with their brand new superstar, Anthony Davis. But, and this is a big but, here's the gamble. Both of these guys are incredible, decorated all-stars, but they're also both currently on the shelf with some pretty serious injuries. The Wizards are betting this move makes them a real contender next season. And you know what's really impressive from their side of things? It's what they didn't give up. They kept all of their own top draft picks. They protected their best young guys like Alex Sarr and Bilal Coulibaly. They basically added a superstar without having to sell the farm. So why does this one trade matter so much? It's because it's the perfect snapshot of two franchises on completely opposite paths, making radically different bets on how you build a championship team in today's NBA. And really, this is what it all boils down to. You've got Dallas, who's betting on patience, on financial freedom, and on the long-term future of a 19-year-old. And then you've got Washington betting on pure star power, on immediate impact, and taking that high-risk, high-reward chance that two injured vets can bring them a title. So it all leaves us with one last, really fascinating question to chew on. Did the Mavericks just manage to fix a massive mistake by getting rid of a huge contract that was tied to a failed plan? Or did they just stumble, thanks to a 1 in a million shot, into their true destiny for the next 10 years? Only time's gonna tell on that one.